Growing up, everything was fine, and like any girl, I look forward to turning 13 and 12 and just being able to have a period like the rest of the girls. Because I remember that in the girls in primary school, everybody seemed to have started their periods before me. So it was, so when it finally came for me in just as I was starting high school, I was really excited. But suddenly, it wasn't what I expected. I hadn't had the other girls complain that it was painful and all that. But in my case, it turned out to be quite painful. So I finished high school, but high school was crazy for me because of those bad periods and very heavy periods, and also having to miss class, being in class and all that. I think almost everybody, at least in our stream, knew that I had an issue. One day, I woke up with a period and it never stopped. I just started bleeding and I never stopped bleeding for close to 5 years. So I went to the doctor and I said, I've been bleeding. I had bled now for almost about 20 days. And I went to the doctor and I said, it's not stopping. And they put me on some medication, and it's supposed to stop you from bleeding. That did not work for me. Of course, socially, I was a recluse now. I couldn't deal with people. There's not much socialization. There's also a lot of shame in bleeding all the time. You also feel like you smell the blood all over the place, so you don't want to go where people are. And it was just a horrible time. How are you dating somebody when you're always, in a bleeding state? How are you even socializing with your girlfriends, even when it's always about you? They're always like, she the only one who has a period. I mean, really? It's all those. So you're such a recluse. It shuts you out from so many things. 2 years later of every day of bleeding month on month, and getting weaker. It came in 2014 when I went to see my doctor and I just collapsed in the clinic. And so my doctor said there's fundamentally something wrong. So they did the ultrasound and all that. And then that's when, by the grace of God, they were able to see that I had what you call endometriomas, or growths in my ovaries. And the minute he saw that, he just said, oh my goodness, this is a condition called endometriosis. Now, endometriosis is a very hard condition to diagnose because it mimics very many other conditions. And endometriosis actually is when that lining, what we call the endometrium, the one that actually sheds every month for a girl to have a period, when similar lining like that is found elsewhere in the body, like it can be found in the ovaries, in the fallopian tube, and in the pelvic region, intestines, some people even the lungs, the brain, that kind of thing. So you can imagine, in my case, there was a lot even in the ovaries where it shouldn't be. So my doctor already said that was like a 90% diagnosis. And so he said, we immediately have to operate. 3 months after that surgery, I had for the first time normal periods lasting 5 days. I think I took a Panadol or 2 during those 3 months, going on for the 3 months after that. So this surgery was hugely successful. So for 3 months, and thereafter, then from June, I started menopause. It started, going miss periods. They come after 4 months, 5 months, like that. Until after that, I was into full menopause. I mean, my life, how people say life starts at, I don't know, in your 20s, others 30s, whatever. Okay, mine was starting now, almost in my 50s. And now, being a confident woman, I tell you, I never want any young girl to go through what I went through, because it's life is difficult enough for a young woman. Whenever I get a platform, an opportunity to share my story, I share it so that any young girl who is there doesn't have to wait another 20 years to discover that it's not in her head, and to learn how to cope with the pain. Yeah.